Welcome to our first We're Right Here interview series. I'm Karen Richards, Director of Marketing at CNB Bank, and I'm excited to sit down today with our President and CEO, Mark Harrell. Mark, welcome. Thanks for spending your afternoon with us.
Absolutely. It's great to be here.
Yep, thank you. So let's get started with just learning about you. So tell us, what inspired you to start a career in banking? Where did you get your start?
Okay. Well, we'll have to go back to the 80s if you want to talk about that. While I was in college, I figured, at some point as I was going through the years, I had to get an adult job. And so there was an opportunity to be a part-time teller at a bank on Dole Highway in Hagerstown. That bank is still there. It's gone through a few changes over the years. So I started there in 1986. So in between my junior and senior year, I got to spend another summer there, and so went back to Towson University. And as I was approaching graduation, there was an opportunity through a job fair to interview with First National Bank of Maryland, and they had a management training program, and it was at the time highly sought after. It was a very comprehensive plan. I really didn't know that I wanted a career in banking at the time. I think it's hard to know that at 22.
Mm,
And so I thought, well, I've spent some time there. I really like the culture. I like the people. And by the way, on the branch on Dole Highway, at the time, I think there were 8 or 9 ladies who worked there. So I quickly got adopted by another eight or
yep.
nine
hmm
mothers. And so that was kind of fun. And so I was fortunate enough to land an interview and get hired in their management training program. Again, still didn't think that 30, whatever that works out to be, 8, 9 years later,
hmm
I'd still be doing this. So
hmm
it's been a great career. I've really enjoyed it. I was um I was fortunate, Karen, to have an opportunity to work for a bank that's a larger bank, a regional bank. Gave me a great opportunity to learn a lot and go through their management training program. It also gave me an opportunity to appreciate community banking.
Sure. Right. Interesting that you started as a part-time teller. I also started as a part-time teller in my career at CNB, and I think we hear that so often with bank executives. That's kind of how we get our start and like it and decide to stay and grow a career in banking. You mentioned the management trainee program, and at CNB, we obviously have a culture of learning and an investment in our team. So tell us how you took that experience and carried it over to CNB.
Yeah, great question. We really pride ourselves at CNB Bank to really have a lot of knowledge and continuously learn. And I think it's really important. It's not only important for each of us and have that capacity, but it also translates well and produces good customer experiences.
hmm
And so our customers who, when they come in and interact with us, we're your local bank. We see you at the church, we see you at the grocery store, and we also can provide you those comprehensive services. So I think it's really important.
Yep, absolutely. We talk a lot about local matters. And you mentioned that your experience at a regional bank and how that's helped you in your career with a community bank. So let's talk about that. How
Sure.
community banks are so important to our local economy.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying local matter. As you know, Karen, I often reference local matters, and it really does. And so for us, we believe that's the differentiator for us. We can provide that personalized service. So when you come into the bank and you're meeting with one of us who know you well and know our market well, we can really provide that personalized service for you. And also local decisions. That matters. It's really
Mhm.
important for folks to understand that we make decisions right here. Our owners are here, the leadership team is here, and so we provide that local decision capacity. We care for our community. So we take great pride in giving back a lot to our community, whether it's the Boy Scouts or the Little League or hospice, various
Mhm.
hospice, whether it's Washington County or Hospice of the Panhandle. We take a lot of pride in doing that.
We sure do. And we definitely have a top down approach to our volunteerism and how we encourage our teams to volunteer with an organization that is meaningful to them. Talk to us about that, about how you kind of ingrain that in your team, that's our
Yeah,
philosophy.
thank you. When I joined the bank 13 plus years ago now, I was really fortunate. It was pretty well ingrained already in the organization, and that was wonderful, dating back to 1934. It's hard to imagine. We just celebrated
hmm
90 years. And so we sort of adopted this kind of slogan internally of EPA, energy, passion, and attitude. And we set the expectation that when you join CMB Bank, It's more than a job, right? It's something that incorporates the entire community. So we set the expectation early on with our staff, and you're right, from the very top to the very bottom,
Mhm.
and set those expectations. And you, Karen, as you know, it's not for everybody, and we
Mhm.
respect and appreciate that.
Mhm.
But for us, we think it's important. It's important for how we deliver services in the community.
Yep, absolutely. Let's talk about your leadership style. How would you describe your leadership?
Oh wow. Okay, so maybe here's the. I'll ask you how you would describe my
I
leadership
knew that was
style.
coming. Yes. So I have had the pleasure of working for you for how many years now? 12 ish,
Yeah, yep, that's
12 ish
correct.
years. And I would say you are a coach for sure and definitely a mentor. Your leadership style is tough when it needs to be and empathetic when it needs to be. And it has served me very well.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah, early in my career, I certainly had a lot of bumps, and I figured out how not to do things. And so, if you're a continuous learner and continuously challenge yourself to do really well, you learn
Hmm.
through that process. Thank you for describing me as a coach. I find myself to be a coach. And, the old saying, it's really important to make a point without making an enemy, and you're not leading folks very well if you're too soft, if you're too gentle. Uh, no different than being a parent.
Sure. Hmm. You've said to me before, is it more important to be right or is it more important to be happy? So I have remembered that through the years. Yes. So what keeps you up at night as a community bank president and CEO?
Sure. Boy, this could consume the rest of the of our conversation, but I'll keep it short. A lot of things. I'll start by saying this. I'm generally optimistic about the economy. Certainly, there are some short-term pains that we're going through right now, but we just came. If you think about it, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've exited a global pandemic. We had some really tough economic times. Interest rates really changed significantly. We've never experienced a 525 basis point lift in interest rates in such a short period of time,
Mm-hmm.
and then directly followed. And I'm sorry, I'm going to get a little bank geeky here,
Hmm.
so hang in there with me. Followed by an inverted yield curve for the longest period of time that this country has ever experienced. And somehow we've managed through all that, we as a country economically.
Hmm.
And so some of those carryovers are still there. The interest rates are normalizing. They're not completely normal, but they're normalizing. And so I feel really good about how stable the economy is becoming. Certainly, again, I'll say it again, there are some short-term pains,
Sure.
politically and otherwise. But I think long term, I think we're in a really good spot. So I'm
Hmm.
optimistic. Uh, what generally keeps me up at night, in addition to that, is just the overall regulatory environment.
Hmm.
We really feel strongly about our culture and how we deliver business, and the great intentions of our regulators, in which we embrace and we certainly adopt. But sometimes they can make our style a little bit difficult. And so, oftentimes, when folks hear on the national news talking about banks, what banks, the big banks, the New York banks, what they do is so vastly different than what we do. But unfortunately, regulators have a tendency to paint the banking industry with one broad
Sure.
brush.
Hmm.
And so then we have to live with the consequences of those. And so hopefully being able to manage that effectively so we can continue to provide services that our customers tell us they enjoy.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So over the last couple years, CNB Bank has made a significant investment in our technology. And with that comes our fraud mitigation solutions. So let's talk a little bit about Above the Cloud, which I've got some new marketing materials here. So let's talk about Above the Cloud,
Sure.
how the idea came about, and what exactly it means.
Sure. And so you started with the new technology, and we are so thrilled about this. I'm going to reference our board and thank our local board of directors. As I mentioned, we have local ownership, and our board fully supports the initiatives of the senior leadership team, and a big part of that is commitment to technology.
Hmm.
And the great news is our customers, our clients still want to come into branches. They still want those facilities, but they also want the advanced
Sure.
technology.
Hmm.
They want that mobile solution. They want to be able to pay bills online. And so we continue to invest in that technology. And I would put us up against the best of the banks, even the big, large banks in the country. I'm super proud of that. It's taken a big investment,
Mhm.
but we're fully supportive of it and we'll continue to invest. So you mentioned above the cloud. We're super happy about this. So above the cloud was really a concept born out of a collection of fraud mitigation tools
Yeah.
that we provide to our clients. And not every tool is necessary for every client, be it a
Mhm.
consumer or be it a small business, but you can choose which one of those tools you think fits you best. And so we have these various tools, and we decided to, hey, let's put all those together as a collection of mitigation tools and described as above the cloud.
Mhm.
And so that you could manage your protection and get peace of mind, rest a little bit easier at
Yeah.
night, but you have controls over those. One in particular that I'm super proud of, there's several that I am, is for all of our consumers. If you have a CNB Bank checking account and you have an app, if you log into your credit score program,
Mhm.
you can launch that credit score. As you know,
Mhm.
it'll instantly give you a credit score. You can also dig in a little bit deeper. You can see your payment history. You can see how much of your credit you're utilizing. That is probably, Karen, as you know, that might be the
Yeah.
number one way to monitor and protect yourself.
Mhm.
Is glancing at your credit report, if not daily, every other day or every third day.
Mhm.
And so, and it has a lot of other tools as part of that. So super pleased with that. Another component of that, not only is that a tool, but it's also a fraud mitigant as well, is we have a personal financial management tool. And wow, that is so
Mhm.
powerful.
Mhm.
So from one spot on our mobile app, you can consolidate. It could be one repository for your credit cards, for your mortgage, for other loans you might have, for investments that you have, and you can monitor that all at one spot. Again, a great financial management tool that also provides fraud mitigant. So it's kind of a combination.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. And it's been great to kind of get to learn these products and services as we've rolled them out. And so the personal financial management tool has been great. I like that it helps you to see where you're doing a lot of your spending. So it
Mm.
categorizes your spending. My family spends too much on eating out and groceries. So when I first, pulled that up and saw the numbers in there, it's like, wow, we need to cut back on what we're spending as far as eating out. But it does. It helps you to see that all in one
Absolutely.
place.
Absolutely.
The debit card controls are another awesome option. I like that. I like that I can set those limits, set those controls for whatever meets our needs. But really, it does just kind of tailors to the customer. So you can use whatever you want, whatever you don't want, don't use. It's kind of
That's
tailored to
exactly
you.
right. And so many of our customers tell us that
Yep.
they love that they can set their rules.
Mm-hmm.
They can set it's tailored to them
Mm-hmm.
as what's important to them. Because how you do your shopping, how I do my shopping could be very different.
Yes.
So it allows
Mm-hmm.
you that flexibility.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you've mentioned a couple times regional banks. So let's talk about maybe the difference. Why would someone choose CNB Bank over a large regional
Sure,
bank?
sure. And again, I just say it again, local matters,
Yep.
right? And so we pride ourselves. We certainly have off the shelf solutions for customers as they come into the bank, and then we can customize solutions as well. And so we're thrilled with being able to do that. And we oftentimes find ourselves doing it with both consumers and small businesses. And so the beauty of a community bank like CNB Bank is that take a mortgage as an example. You can come in CNB Bank. We have very flexible terms with mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
You can get the benefit of working and receiving that mortgage, but not calling an 800 number and
Yeah.
being pushed off to someone randomly that
Mm-hmm.
you may or may not know what state they're in. You may or may not understand them. But for us, you're working with somebody locally who not only understands you and your needs, but understands the market.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing sweeter than when you're talking with somebody about a mortgage and they're talking about moving into, say, Hedgesville. And say, oh, my kids go to
Yeah.
Hedgesville. Oh, they have a new principal there. Oh, yeah, Mr. Smith's doing a great job.
Yeah.
It just gives that comfort. And you do all that with all the flexibility of a large mortgage company.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We have really gained ourselves a reputation of supporting so many different organizations in the
Uh,
community. And our vision statement, our work leads to financially healthy communities. Let's just talk about that a little bit and
sure.
what that means to you.
Absolutely. So, certainly at the heart of every community is a healthy community, must be really driven by a healthy community bank.
Mm-hmm.
And so we take that role really, really seriously. and it's exceptional, really, what we are able to do and the support that we have from our board and our management team to give back to the community. Certainly, we are an organization. Our
Mhm.
shareholders expect us to make a profit.
Mhm.
Our shareholders expect us to grow, but they also give us the flexibility and strike the balance between how do we grow and how do we benefit the community at the same time.
Yes, right. Okay, so let's how about a little speed round of your
Oh boy,
favorite things?
my favorite things.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Oh wow, that's tricky.
There's so many good
Depends
ones locally.
on the night. And so it seems like if I'm in Martinsburg, I've got a couple of my go-tos, and if I'm in Hagerstown, I have a couple of my go-tos. So how about if I say this? Locally owned restaurants are
Yep.
always my favorite. Certainly when we're here, but also when we're traveling. We like to support local, and candidly, we just like the how it varies, right? And we generally go in. What's the special? What's the chef trying out tonight?
Mhm.
We really think that's kind of cool.
Yep, I love that.
And so for us, it's if I were to travel somewhere and pull into a chain restaurant, I will get the look from my wife,
Uh-huh.
and then she'll pull up the app and let's find something local. So
Yep.
so that's my short answer.
Yep,
Yep.
I love that. And since you mentioned Trish, what's your favorite home cooked meal?
Oh my, she does so many really well. Is that the right answer?
No,
Uh,
you're gonna have to pick one.
okay. Oh boy. So I'm gonna say lasagna.
Oh, okay.
That's mine and the kids collectively. That's probably our
Uh-huh.
favorite. She does lasagna a little different than any place I've ever had it. So I'm
Nice.
kind of partial to the
Yes,
lasagna.
nice. How about your favorite season?
Absolutely spring.
Mhm.
Hands down, love spring. I've loved just all the new things that are happening in spring, the all the joys of what's about to come. The birds singing, the flowers
Yeah.
opening, just life coming back again. So,
Yep.
hands down, absolute favorite time of the
Hands
year.
down spring. And you are fresh off vacation. So what's your favorite vacation spot?
So, I like the beach and I like warm.
Mhm.
And so anywhere I can go that it's really warm and I can just enjoy that. I love to read a book. I have a tendency to read business books, so I'm trying to be better
Mhm.
at reading just brainless books, so I don't have to think too
You don't
much
have to
about
think.
while I'm on vacation.
Mhm.
And then within 2 or 3 days, I'm back to some business book, the latest
Yeah.
and greatest business book.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy that.
I like that. So favorite employee?
Favorite employee.
Just kidding. We'll get you to
So
answer that
so
off the
I've got an
camera.
answer.
Oh, you have an
Oh
answer?
yeah, head of
Okay.
HR, the person who's in charge of the paychecks.
Oh, nice.
They're always my
Perfect.
favorite,
There you
sure.
go. Always the favorite. Yes. So tell us, what advice would you give someone that's looking to start a career in banking?
Yeah, it's banking is so different than what most folks understand it to be. And Karen, as you know, so many folks who bank, let's say it's CNB Bank, maybe 95% of their interaction is in that branch, is
Hmm.
doing a transaction,
Hmm.
withdrawing funds, getting some coin for their yard sale they're
Yep.
having this weekend, whatever that is. That's probably 90 or 95% of most consumers and businesses interaction. But as you know, that's probably about 20% of the activity that happens at a bank. There's so
Hmm.
much behind the scenes, so many wonderful opportunities for career growth. And we certainly pride
Yes.
ourselves. You made a comment earlier, and I couldn't be more proud than to have folks like you and others. Our senior leadership team is full of people who started as a
Hmm.
part-time position, maybe a teller,
Hmm.
and now they're a CFO, they're
Yep.
head of compliance, the BSA officer, the chief operating officer,
Hmm.
and so in a community bank is full of folks that have all travels throughout the organization and can speak well to all the wonderful opportunities there are there.
Hmm. That's one of my favorite things about community banking is there's not necessarily a formal education required. We'll provide you lots of educational
Mm,
opportunities and advancement for growth. That's always been one of my favorite things about community
yeah.
banking. So I had a question for you and I
So while
forgot.
you're looking for another question,
Okay.
I'm gonna take the opportunity to brag on Karen a little bit. So I remember the day I met Karen, 13 plus years ago. She was this very quiet, somewhat shy young lady who maybe mostly made eye contact with me when we shook hands. as an employee of a branch. And Wind the Clock Forward, she's leading podcasts. She does public speaking. She writes a lot of my publications. She's a rock star, and so I'm super proud of you, Karen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, my last question was going to be, what has been your most rewarding experience as a community bank
Yeah,
president?
it gives me the opportunity to see folks flourish in this
Hmm.
industry, and also take great care of clients. I just had a catch up with one of our younger bankers today, who's less than a year in, and I said to him, I said, Jake, I've never in my 30 plus years in this industry talked with a client about a potential solution, about an opportunity to improve what they're currently doing with an investment or refinance a mortgage. Not once in 30 plus years have they come back and said anything other than, thank you for that. That really helped. That's so rewarding. So you see your organization internally grow. You see how great the opportunities you have to take care of clients. That's just exciting stuff.
Hmm.
That gets you charged up in the
Yeah,
morning.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, before we wrap it up, any last comments? Anything we didn't cover that you'd like for us to go over?
Well, again, I just want to echo the local matters. We are
Mm.
thrilled to be here. We're thrilled to be in this region, Washington County, Berkeley County. And of course, in Berkeley County, we're saddled by both Jefferson County and
Hmm.
Morgan County. And then in Washington County, we have Franklin County, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
Frederick County, Maryland. And we do a lot of business throughout that region. But what's really special to us is we get to partner with folks like SC Studios right here locally, working with folks local who understand us. We understand them. They understand our market. So that's exciting. So I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge them and thank them
Yeah.
for everything they do for us.
Yep. Thank you. That's a great note to end on. So, with that, this wraps up our first episode of We're Right Here. Stay tuned for our next episode in a couple weeks featuring Sammy Malott, who is a CNB mortgage banker, another rock star on the team. So, that'll do it for today. Mark, thank you for your time this afternoon
Thank you, Karen. Thank you very
and
much.
enjoy the rest of your day.